Good day, I'm John Albert Dumaya from 1BSA25. I present to you the genetically modified organisms. The objective of this topic is to identify the presence of genetically modified organisms in food purchased from shelves of local grocery stores. GMOs, or genetically modified organisms, are organisms whose genetic material has been altered using genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is the modification of an organism's phenotype by altering its genetic makeup. Genetic engineering is primarily performed by simple mating or generic combination. A later section in this module elaborates further on how genetically modified crops are created. GMOs range from microorganisms like yeast and bacteria to insects, plants, fish, and mammals. Genetically modified crops are those engineered to introduce a new trait into the species. Purpose of GM crops generally include resistance to certain pests, disease, or environmental conditions, or resistance to chemical threats. Other purpose of genetic modification of crops is to enhance its nutritional value as seen in the case of golden rice. The first stage in making GM plant requires the transfer of DNA into a plant cell. One of the methods used to transfer DNA is to coat the surface of small metal particles with the relevant DNA, fragment and bombard the particles into the plant cells. Another method is to use a bacterium or virus. There are many viruses and bacteria that transfer their DNA into a host cell as a formal part of their life cycle. For GM plants in the bacterium, most frequently used is called agrobacterium, to fashions. The gene of interest is transferred into the bacterium and the bacterial cells then transfer the new DNA to the genome of the plant cells. The plant cells that have successfully taken up the DNA are then grown to create a new plant. This is possible because individual plant cells have an impressive capacity to generate entire plants. The advantages of genetically modified or GM crops. Number 1. It improves production and raises farmers' income. Indian farmers are still practicing traditional process of seeding and cultivation, which required scientific moves for raising their production. Number 2. It reduced the use of pesticide and insecticide during farming that might be great moves for betterment of the food supplies. Number 3. It can feed a rapidly increasing population because it shows dramatically increased yields. Number 4. It can produce more in a small area of land. And number 5. India produced BT cotton seeds in 2002. It has greatly reduced the use of toxic pesticides. And the disadvantages of genetically modified or GM crops. Number 1. The production imposes high risk to the disruption of ecosystem and biodiversity because the better traits produced from engineering genes can result in the favoring of one organism. Number 2. It increases the cost of cultivation and more inclined towards marketization of farming that work on immoral profits. Number 3. The transgenic crops endanger not only farmers but also the trade and the environment as well. Number 4. It is biologically altered, hence biotech foods may pose a human health risk. And number 5. The excessive production of genetically modified foods will be rendered ineffectively over time because the pests that these toxins use to deter might eventually develop resistance toward them. Only a few types of GMO crops are grown in the United States, but some of these GMOs make up a large percentage of the crop grown. In 2018, GMO soybeans made up 94% of all soybeans planted. GMO cotton made up 94% of all cotton planted, and 92% of corn planted was GMO corn. In 2013, GMO canola made up 95% of canola planted, while GMO sugar beets made up 99.9% of all sugar beets harvested. Most GMO plants are used to make ingredients that then are used to other food products. For example, cornstarch made from GMO corn or sugar made from GMO sugar beets. Thank you.